Yeah, so the first important thing about this whole thing is to first identify your feelings. Okay. What happens that a lot of times we get into these situations which happen in our life. So this is the first pointer. You also start writing it down on your notebook. What do we feel? What are our feelings? So have we ever tried just simply sitting, feeling what we feel, and also identifying those feelings as this is exactly how I feel like, and dissecting and disintegrating them into smaller chunks like, okay, this is a feeling of disrespect, or this is a feeling of disharmony, or this is a feeling of powerlessness. This is what I am feeling because of how this person impacted me. So we just go on saying that I don't like the way they treat me, or I don't like the way I feel. What do we feel? So before we go on and understand that what is it, and is it good, bad, very, very bad? Is it is making us feel powerless, or where is it there in our body? Where how is it changing our thought patterns? The moment something happens, you'll see that you experience a physiological change, mental change. You start perspiring, or you start getting angry thoughts, whatever it is. So the first thing for you to write down is what do you feel? That is about the awareness of you. There are many ways to become awareness, to bring awareness to how you actually can see where things are coming from. But emotions, your feelings are, one of the easiest way, because why they are the easiest? Because you can just simply feel them. Okay, it's not rocket science to just identify and look at your feelings. That is the first point. Sachin, you have anything to add?
No, I think you've covered it. Just to just maybe more clarification on this when we are saying how does it make you feel. So you can just pick up any incident, any person or whatever, and just remember like how does it make you feel. That so that's what we are talking about. Is how does when these things happen, what kind of feelings you experience. That's the question basically. So just
Okay, finally I could open the
Dhani,
PDF.
Dhani has raised hand. Yes, Dhani, you want to
Yes,
say
honey.
something?
Hi, Anamika and Sachin. Like, can it be a mixture of two, three feelings like powerless plus
Hmm.
Of
respectful?
Yeah,
course,
as many,
of course, as
of
many.
course.
Dissect and disintegrate them into as many smaller chunks as you can.
Okay, okay.
It will be many feelings. It could be
Hmm.
feeling of confusion. It could be um, anxiety, stress, frustration, anger, whatever, everything.
Yeah, yeah.
The more you can name, the better.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Yes, and the funny part is that it's not just these feelings. People who go through these repeated patterns, there are also feelings which we label as good involved in this. If you keep continuing, going deeper and deeper into this, there's a reason why people cling to these kind of situations again and again, because there is also an element of, not just all the negative and bad feelings involved, but also some of them are something, which are providing them with something they can hold on to. That is why it's, you know, really important to just keep dissecting it and seeing that this is also a part of it, an element of it. Now the second part of this awareness of you thing is, because right now the first step is working on ourselves. Second part is what are your triggers. Okay, is there a specific conversation which triggers you? Is there a specific thing which somebody says, or some a behavior or a habit or a belief system you hear from somebody else? And that suddenly triggers you and makes you like feeling depressed and angry, any kind of negative emotions which you get. And then how do you respond? Are your responses like the same, or they change sometimes, or you don't even think and you just start reacting? No, one note which we all should write down here is that be brutally honest to yourself. Nobody's going to read your worksheet. Nobody's going to judge you for anything. You don't even have to like right away share it with us. So just be honest and write it clearly. How do you respond? I hope everybody is writing down these pointers. The third one is the awareness of others. The third part of this. So now the first three baby steps is the awareness of the whole scenario. Till now, we were looking at the situation as it was something linear. And we say things like, this is what happens to me. This is what has happened. This is what they do. And fine, that is all true. No denial about it. Okay, there's no denying that those things are happening. But it is important that we first get ready and set a very clear intention that we are ready to see things from now from different perspectives, and we are open to it rather than just like this is how it is. So we have done the first thing. What are your feelings? So if you have written down your feelings, just see what exactly are those feelings. Can you right now dissect them into five parts, five major emotions that you feel in this process? Now the next thing is, when was the last time you felt this way? Was it with the same set of people? Was it the exactly same scenario? Was it the exactly same topic? Was it an exactly same response from your side? It happened yesterday in the morning, yesterday night, 1 week ago. And then how often does it happen? Now, as we have understood how we feel and how we respond to other people, just see for a moment if you can identify a pattern, not in somebody else. Leave the other person aside for some time. See if you can just identify a pattern within you, within your responses, the way how you feel. Are you feeling the same things? Even though if you can see there were some changes in the scenarios, same feelings, same triggers, and same responses. If you don't observe this in yourself, that is fine. But if you do, be honest that yes, this is what I can see in myself. Because then we can see further if that can be changed or not, or anything like that. But before that, we have to first identify that, yes, it is true that I get exactly these kind of feelings. I feel these many times in a week. This happens specifically with these people in these scenarios. And this is how I respond exactly. So, when did it happen to you? And um, going back in your life, just see if you can recall if there is somebody else who made you feel this way. Maybe your parents, somebody important in your childhood, your mother, your father, your siblings, maybe a guardian. And just be open to understanding that not necessarily, but there's also a possibility that it's just those imprints there within you of those feelings. And every time something like that happens, maybe it induces the same feeling in you and you react the same way. Possibility, not the entire truth of the situation. I'm just asking you to be open for a moment when you're contemplating this and honest. If anybody has any question, just raise your hand. Sachin, is there anything you would like to add till now?
Mm, no, I think it's going well. Maybe just mm, let's just pause and give them some time to write.
Yes.
Is Jyoti not here? No? Jyoti is saying in the group that she's not able to join.
Okay. Can you please ask her to try joining again? Yes. Please, guys, if you have any questions in between, feel free to ask. Now, the third step to bringing awareness to this scenario is we see things from our perspective always, and it's right also. What else can we do? But if if we can identify at least one thing, what we were taught from the childhood and how many conditionings that we got and how we started labeling things as good and bad, if we are like that, so isn't it true for the other person as well? Let's suppose they are your in-laws, okay, and they keep telling one thing all the time to you. Maybe they're trying to control you, maybe they're trying to, you know, um, tell you things, and they expect a lot from you, or they just try to, put you down. Whatever they do, fine, they do it. That we don't feel, we don't like it, we all know. Um, but but if we have our own internal stories going on, our own experiences, journeys, then they also have the same thing. It's not like that we are saying that, you know, what they're doing is fine. What they're doing is absolutely not fine, and we don't have to go through it necessarily. But this is only about bringing awareness to, you know, what they feel, what are they feeling in that situation, and why they feel that way, and why they're doing what they're doing, you know. Maybe it's not even about them. It's not even about who they are, but actually about the conditioning which they got from maybe their parents or the society, or, you know, from somebody or an experience. So it's awareness of this is not going to change your situation, okay, but it would definitely give you a perspective from their side and will change your perspective towards them. So it will help you, you know, change your responses towards them, and then ultimately lead to a bigger change, but not a short term change. This is about awareness. So if you can remember anything, what do they feel and why do you think they feel that way? Then just write those points down, and please write the questions so that you can continue with this exercise and this flow later on as well.
And if you are not able to write it for whatever reason, if you are feeling resistant to write it because you just don't want to see that there is anything good in what they are doing, then write that also, because it's important. What we are saying, as Anamika said, that our we are not trying to justify and support what they are doing is correct or not correct. Just for the exercise here, the question is, put yourself in their shoes and imagine, by putting, just put all the judgment and labeling you have for them, that they are this, they are that, they're always manipulative, they're always this, they're always that. Just put that aside for a minute. Put yourself in their shoes and think, like, why would they have done that? And the answer can be they have done that because they are always manipulative, they're always this. No. You have to understand, to answer this question, you have to understand that nobody ever intentionally does anything wrong. Even if you don't believe this about them, it's okay. Just for this exercise, go with it. That is how we will move forward in this workshop. So, just for this exercise, assume that this assumption is true, that everybody does, and everybody is fine. They are good in their intention. But sometimes the way they do things, the way they say it, whatever they do, say and all that, it doesn't sound very good. It doesn't sound very nice, and the actions doesn't feel very good and all that. That's all fine. Just to do this exercise, assume that their intentions were good, and now try to imagine what could those intentions be. Even if they are hurting you, even if their words and actions are hurting you, still try to imagine what could be good behind it. Put yourself in their shoes. That is what it means. If you say you are putting yourself in their shoes, but still trying to say, oh, that they're doing this because they're manipulative, then you're not still in their shoes.
Right. And maybe if you can just see in the process about this step, see if whatever they say and whatever they are doing and whatever way they behave, is it really about you, or is it more about them? You know, about their conditioning, about their belief patterns, their values. Is it really about you, or you are just making it about you? So just see. I mean, you don't necessarily have to do anything in this case. Just see, observe, observe. Now, the fourth part of this workshop is the ideal scenario. What is it that we desire, and what is the kind of scenario which where we want to reach, where we can say that, okay, this is fine, this is exactly how I wanted it to be. So, what is it that we desire? It is about getting clarity, absolute clarity. Because if you don't have clarity, if you don't know where you're heading, it's like any road would take you, and then you can say that, okay, fine, I reached. But that is not about having clarity. Clarity is like having a clear vision that, yes, this is what I want. So, what is it that you want? You really want, okay, really want, and sit and contemplate about this question even after this workshop is ended. In fact, all of these questions, uh, they need contemplation. So, what is the kind of scenario that you want in your home? If whatever you have in your mind, just write it roughly on your notebook. The next step is, do you think it is possible? What makes you think that it's not? While writing the first question, could you sense any resistance that, no, this would not happen? No, maybe I don't want it, or maybe I want it, or all these ifs and buts and maybes. And so, do you really think it is possible? And even if you think it's not, what is it that makes you think that way? Is it about you? Is it about the other people? Who is it about? What is holding you back from saying it completely with clarity that this is what I want and it is possible? Now, the third step, one of the most important steps in any kind of change you would ever want to bring in your life, is that, do you recognize your role or not? So, even when we say that at least be open to new perspectives, that is also recognizing your role, that you are opening yourself to, an expanded perspective. So, ask yourself honestly that, am I ready to see that this is the part I play in the story? And are you willing to take, really willing to take the necessary steps which requires action? Because if you're not, then this whole thing makes no sense, because it's again going to be the same way. There is no magic wand anybody has, or there is no magical, angel coming and going to make and who's going to make everything all right. You play a part in your story. You're always co-creating. So you receive things and situations, but you also respond to them, right? So maybe you cannot change how you receive situations at the first place, but when you change your response, you change the story. So just see if you are ready to play a role, that yes, I'm willing to take all the necessary steps, and then see what is your role. What role do you play in this story? Do you recognize that you also play a part? And what is that part? Can you identify it clearly? That, fine, everything the other people did, but this small part, can you take that much charge that, yes, I mean, for 1% of the thing, for that small thing, actually I'm responsible for this, just for the smallest thing you can observe about yourself. And the fifth part is, how does it change your life? So, how this whole ideal scenario, if you get it, right, you have the best in-laws in the world and the best people at office and the best people around you when you get up in the morning, anything. So, how is it going to change your life? And what changes would it make, and how it is going to improve your life? How is it going to make you happy? How is it going to add anything? Sachin, would you like to add anything to this part?
No, I think we're fine. I just wanted to say that we are trying to cramp up a lot of these details in 1 hour. So some of these things you just note down, and you may not be able to answer all these things right now. And that's okay. Just note down these questions. You have the pen and paper, and you can do it later also. In fact, we recommend that you do them later. Not all the answers will come right now, and you don't have to finish it in this 1 hour. Just try to understand the process, and if you have any questions about the process, that how we are trying to lead, that this is how you get to the bottom of it, then you can ask those questions. Um, but don't feel rushed to complete this whole thing in this 1 hour. It's okay.
Yes, so this workshop is a small prototype of, the other e-courses that we are creating, and they are elaborate, but everything that we found was, that could complete this whole process. If even if you go through this thing, like really contemplate over all these questions, it is still going to work for you, right? And if you want to, dig deeper, then our e-courses are there, of course. So now, coming to the last and the fifth part of this workshop, which is about taking actions. So, no matter how much of awareness you bring, no matter how much clarity you have, this is what I want, but because because this thing involves other people as well, right? If it involves other people, that means there is some exchange of information, some situation, something going on, right? On and off, something is going. So you cannot move away from taking actions. Okay, so, and in fact, with anything in life, after we have brought awareness that what is it that we want, why we want it, and what is it that we desire, we have clarity, everything we have, like all the homework done. If we don't take any action which is required, we'll come back to the same square, and regardless of how much work we do, we'll still vibrate at the same place, because even though we raised ourselves for some time, we went forward, but because we did not do what was required to do, we'll again fall back. Actions, you have to take actions. Matlab, this is not an optional thing. So the first exercise which you can do for yourself is remembering that you are worthy. Okay, and you're worthy, and other people are also worthy, and it's not like, worthiness in a way, like just, remembering and reciting all the time, I'm worthy and I'm worthy and I'm worthy. No, we are not talking about affirmations and recitation, but simply realizing this fact that your worth is not something which is questionable. Okay, मतलब हम कुछ और practice या कुछ ये तो बोल ही नहीं रहे हैं. Even for a few seconds, you just come to that space that my worth is not questionable at all. If I'm here right now in this moment, there's a reason why I'm here. There's a reason I can feel what I feel, and everything is created in a way, and it's not questionable only. So you can go through the routes of affirmations or meditation or mindfulness or journaling or any of these paths, but it's about being in that space that my value, my worth is not questionable, and it is not something which I need to prove to anybody. Okay, it's not something to be proved, or it is not something which anybody else can take away from me or give to me. That is something I inherently have, inherently. So that is that space to be in, because we give, other people a lot of responsibility and accountability to make us feel worthy, but that's not how it is, right? It is, again, it's good we all have relationships to make us feel nice, and exchange of love and everything, but this is something is not questionable. That is secondary, but this is actually primary. Okay, that everything will come out of this, not that this will come out of everything else. So that's one thing. This necessarily does not need to be done in stepwise, this step. So you can do it, in different um, manner, or you can just choose and pick one of these, and they're not linear. The second thing is seeking support. So what happens that when we are seeing these kind of situations at our home or at office frequently, then we start cutting ourselves off from, other people in our lives, and we close down, because self-worth, lack of self-worth, and lack of self-esteem issues are going to make us, close down and not feel open to other people as well, because we have that imprint now in our head that we are not, maybe not desirable, or maybe we are not worthy. So how can we seek support? And if they don't support me, then I'll end up feeling the same way. So
Uh, I want to clarify this point a little bit more because
sure.
there's a chance that some people may misinterpret support what we are saying. You might think that no, no, I talk. We are not talking about when we are going through this, you complaining about this to another person. That you may be doing. So whinging about it, complaining about it, venting about it, it's fine, but that's not support. So coming with the intention, going to the other person with the intention that I need to sort this, that is seeking support. See- So we are not considering finding someone to complain the situation about and all that is not what we mean by support here. That's, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, thanks, Sachin. That is actually important for all of us to understand. That is not support, because that is really a temporary information, a temporary relief of just venting out with somebody. That intention, to actually change it, transform the situation is required. Now, the third thing is communication. So, as we saw in the first part about the awareness, that how we respond. So we respond, if we just observe yourself, we have set patterns in our life. This thing happens, a kind of reaction. This thing happens, a kind of reaction. This thing happens, a kind of reaction. And we become nothing but a bunch of, you know programmed coding in our head, which the moment something happens, we encrypt it and we react. So communication is one very important point in any relationship, any relationship. So before reacting, just, out of our conditioned patterns, bringing awareness to them will help us communicate and have an intention again that this time what we do mostly is that we go inside the shell. We run away from the situation, or maybe our conditioned pattern could be we can start manipulating the other person, or the conditioned pattern would be we would just shut down and we would start feeling that, you know I'm not loved, I'm not worthy, and we would just go silent. So different kind of response patterns we have, but when we bring awareness to them and we identify them, it is now an intention to see if we can communicate differently. Maybe we are saying the same thing, okay, but we say it out in a different way so that we can make the other person understand what we are saying. And they do or not do, that is a different thing. But when we communicate in a different way and we respond differently, I don't think it is possible that, for very long the other person would keep responding in the same way. It it is necessarily going to change in some or the other way. The fourth thing you can try is safe space and distance. Okay, so maintain an safe emotional space. A lot of people, a few of clients that I have seen till now, what they do is they would keep telling that, you know, my family is like this. They are just, discussing and creating chaos all the time. But the pattern which they have is that every time a situation happens, they themselves are enjoying the chaos and creating chaos and having unnecessary discussions, which they don't see. Okay, and they'll go on and keep complaining about, this is what they do, everything. So just this is something a lot of us do, and that's just human because it is not possible for a fish to see, you know, water because it is inside the water all the time. So that is why uh, just see if you can, rather than getting involved in it, if you are getting involved in it all the time, just see if you can detach yourself from that space for some time, and with again an intention that, I'm either I have a constructive communication, or if I'm not in a space to have a constructive communication, I genuinely ask them that I need right now a safe emotional space, and then I'll come back to you when we need to talk about it. But this is not how it is. And then it comes to healthy boundaries, which is, of course, the same thing I said that, you know, what happens that we say yes in place of no most of the times in our life, and no when we have to say yes. So we say no to things which we really want to do, and we keep saying yes to things which we don't want to do. And why do we do that? So one of the reasons, not that there are many, it's a vast thing to discuss in itself, but one of the reasons is that we have not set healthy boundaries for ourselves. And because of our, that clinging to that feeling of being accepted, so we somehow may be feeling that if I do this to somebody, maybe I'll receive what I want to receive. So subconsciously, what we are doing is that we are doing a transaction that, I do this for you and you do this for me, regardless of we want to actually do it or not. But we are just trying to fulfill our needs. And that is a very, tilted way of fulfilling our needs, because needs can be fulfilled in a much better way. But we keep playing these games of being manipulated and manipulating others because we have not set clear boundaries, and we have not learned to clearly, in a straightforwardly and constructive and a healthy fashion, say no and also say yes when it needs to be said. So setting healthy boundaries is one of the most important things. And whenever you see something like this happening, start small, and in a very small thing or a very small situation, just say that no. No, this is not how it is supposed to be, right? And see it not because you're saying it out of anger or you're saying it out of sadness or anything, but because it is not supposed to be that way. You feel that way, right? So that is the fifth point. These are not in sequence, so you can try any of them in whatever sequence you like. So this is about the workshop. Now, I hope all of you have written down all the points. Now, if you have any questions, experiences, experiences to share, please feel free to do so.
So I just wanted to add before we open for questions that this process that we have shared with you, um, this is this is it. So we have shared the questions, the steps, the processes, what to do, what questions to ask yourself, how to navigate yourself out of this situation. Um, it's not possible to go in the details of all these things and do it in a 1 hour session. I'm sure you would have got it by now. Um, so you can use this and create your own worksheets around it. So that's that. And the other thing is that, as Sanamika mentioned before, that we are creating DIY e-courses around these things. So process is going to be the same, what we just shared with you. What we will be introducing is maybe a daily activity around it, like daily guiding question that today think about this, today spend time in figuring this out or that way. So assignments, assessments, checklists, some videos to help you guide this through, which we are going to be producing. So it will be like a 2 or 3 weeks guided process that will be there. Uh, we are still going to follow this whole process that we shared with you. So as you said, you have two options. You can take this and create your own kind of a schedule, own guidance around it. That over the next few days or over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to map this process out and spend time because it's important. Don't just rush through these questions. Spend time on each of these questions. Even if you know the answer straight away, still we would say only spend 1 day on one question. Just let more answers come. Keep thinking about that question back of your mind. Um, the obvious answers are always there, but when you give yourself time, you keep thinking about it. More things come up, more answers will come up, which are buried deep in there. So don't underestimate the power of a pause and to just contemplate on one thing at a time. So we will create certain kind of meditations around this to help you move along in this process. That's all part of the e-courses that we are talking about. It is going to be like a subscription based thing. So our intention is to create like a for the lack of any example, is let's say like Netflix. So you subscribe, and then every month we will be uploading many different e-courses around it. So let's say one of them could be how to set healthy boundaries. So a 2 or 3 weeks guided process that will help you to set healthy boundaries with whoever you want to set healthy boundaries with. Or some people might be taken for granted in their relationship. So how to come out of that thing where you are not taken for granted. So we will keep adding more and more courses as we go along, and it will be just one subscription. So you can just join and then leave whenever you feel that okay, I'm done. But one subscription will get you this library of e-courses that we will continue to publish in that area. And as time goes by, we will keep adding more and more things. Our intention is to bring more and more of these courses to uh, strengthen a relationship between two people, and we will address many different problems. Like Vanshika once talked about that. Can we do something for single parents? So we will continue to look at many different challenges, many different problems, and keep creating 1 week, 2 week, 3 week kind of DIY courses. Keep uploading them. You can consume as many as you want and all that, and that's it. And the price that we are thinking, I'm sure that that's probably one of the questions might be coming in your mind right now. That what will be the price? So the price that we are thinking for this is 299 per month. That is the standard subscription. We will probably give some discount if you want to subscribe for, let's say, 6 months or 1 year. So already 300 bucks is not much, but let's see. So we haven't really decided upon all that. So I'm just giving you some heads up. We will be launching these e-courses from March. So we are in the process of building them, and we will release a couple of them to start with, and you can start consuming them, and then as you are consuming them, we will be uploading more and more, and you are more than welcome to give us suggestions also, that if you want us to produce something in for a particular challenge that you are facing, or you feel that this is a challenge that many people face, it would be good to make something around it, and we'll do that as well. The content of these e-courses will be, or the way we have designed this, the pattern of this is going to be, roughly speaking, 3 weeks. 1 week we will spend in bringing the awareness or around the problem, that why this is happening. Like, we're going to go deep. We're going to go give you assignments, exercise, homework, checklists, assessments, all those things, so you can go deep into why this is happening. The second week we are going to spend time in creating clarity about it. That what is it that we want. So once again, we are going to spend good amount of time, not just superficial, I want this, but think deep and spend that 1 week with us, and guide you every day, that this is what is going to be there. And then third week we will spend in creating action plans around it as well. So how can we move towards it? So we'll help you to create that action plan, execute that action plan. And then obviously, if you are facing any trouble around these things, you're part of the WhatsApp group. The support will be provided to you in that WhatsApp group, so you can ask any questions or whatever. Um, and that's the intention. So that's what we are planning to do. And any comment, any suggestion you have around what I just shared, feel free to share that in our WhatsApp group as well. That if you feel this idea is good, not good, or if we can do something, some other kind of problem or whatever, just feel free to share whatever you want to share. Okay, I'm done explaining this. Over to you, Anamika, and opening the floor if anyone has any questions. So please feel free to ask.
Yeah, so just try doing this exercise and contemplate over these questions over the week. And on next Sunday, we can meet around, at 11 a.m. and then we can actually share our experiences. So if there's anything, any experience of yours, any story of yours which you would like to share, then please feel free to do so.
So these things that we are doing, these Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning calls, and maybe we might do other things. We will only be uh, sharing the details of it in the WhatsApp group. So this is not going to be shared on any of our WhatsApp platform. No, sorry, not WhatsApp, social media platform, or by any kind of email campaign or anything like that. So this particular service that we are doing is only for this WhatsApp group. So uh, just wanted you to know that we value that you have taken time out and joined the WhatsApp group, and more people are joining. So we want to provide something extra to people who are taking an extra step towards strengthening their relationships and improving their relationship. We want to do something extra for them. Um, so these details will not be shared on our Instagram page or LinkedIn page or any of the email campaigns or anything. Only here we will share, and we would like you to keep it that way as well. This group is invite only, so if you would like anybody in your circle to join, then please let us know. You can forward that. We would like to first check that whether that person is fit to join this group or not. So we will not be allowing anyone to join this group like that. So we will be moderating the quality of this group that way. But you are welcome to suggest any names if you have any friends or anyone who you think, then you can forward us their name and we will get in touch with them. Check. Any questions, anyone? We are already over time, 5 minutes past six. I started 5 minutes late, but if any questions, we can spend few more minutes. If no questions, then we can just wrap up the call also.
I have one
Hello,
question. Okay.
hello,
Sure.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
Dhwani, Vikesh. Yes, go ahead. One of you can. Dhwani, go ahead. Then Vikesh, you
Okay.
can talk.
So when I was writing about the person, people, the response mechanism, I wanted to know like, should I go back in time or should I go from childhood to adulthood? How do I make a note of these people and the experiences?
Back in time, go backwards. Don't start
O-
from your childhood and come forward. Go backwards from your current life.
Okay, okay, sure. So is
Yeah.
there like a year space like last 5 years or last 3 years ऐसा कुछ होता है?
No, no, there's no
Not really.
specific defined year space, but you just, keep that intention. And whenever you're sitting to write and contemplate, just
Hmm.
see, which last event which you can remember. Because now the thing is that it is all stored in your subconscious. So it is anyway going to guide you, a significant memory, which is significant for you. For an example, I'll tell you when you go for therapy, hypnotherapy, or any regression. So
Hmm.
what happens that the subconscious does not, it has all the information, but it not, does not give you all the information, right? It only gives
Yeah.
you the information which is important at that point of time,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So
Yes.
your brain, not your brain, but your mind itself will pick the right thing which needs to be healed. But when
Okay.
it comes, don't reject it. Just see, just write it down, just sit with it, how it impacted you, and then keep going backwards. It will keep popping up. And you will
Okay.
just do some, you'll just be busy doing something randomly, and it may come even that at that point of time.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anamika.
Yeah. Thanks, Tony.
See, for that reason only, I was saying that we want to spend as much time as possible in this activity because all these memories are there, but they won't just come straight away. So you have to allow them to come up, and that is the intention that let as much of it come up as possible. It's good that way. As far as you can go, early childhood, you might be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years old, and you might remember something. That's okay. So you have to sit with that intention, and we will be preparing some guided meditations around it as well to help you get to that point and get to those things so you can recall them. They are there. In coaching terms, we call these things as defining moments. So those memories are there, and you just need to have the intention to visit them. They will pop up very quickly. They pop up. You'll be surprised that how many times we hear that people feel that, oh, that happened when I was 5 years old, but the memory is so fresh and it just pops up so fresh that they are even surprised that it just feels so fresh. feelings feel so crazy, you could still feel the anxiety or the anger or whatever around it. So it's important to visit them, as many of them as possible. And for that, we need to spend time.
Yes, Sachin, thank you.
Vikesh was
Vikesh
here.
was also saying something.
I think he's left.
Okay, no problem. I guess it's time. So it's already 6:10 almost. So if anybody has any questions, you can just write to us on the WhatsApp group. We all are connected. So let's wrap up today's call. Anything to add, Sachin?
No, I think, yeah,
Okay.
that's good. We can wrap up it. And just because of the timing, we are wrapping up, but we can continue the conversation in the group.
Yes, we'll continue this conversation in the group. Keep writing and keep sharing, anything you experience. We always welcome it. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining this call, and we all will be connected. And there's a lot more to come.
Thank you, Anamika. Thank you,
Yeah,
Yes,
Sachin.
thank
thanks,
you.
Ryan.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you,
We
Have a
are
Sachin.
great
waiting
day.
Thank
for
you,
a
Stay.
lot
Anamika.
to
Thanks,
come and
Pradeep.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
improve ourselves.
Thanks. Thanks,
Thank you.
Pradeep.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Bye.
have a great
Thank
day,
you.
guys. Bye bye.
Yeah, you too.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.